Welcome to National Park Wild. I'm Eric, continuing today in 2020 Park Recap. Recently, I've made many videos about the parks I visited in June on an RV trip. These include Big Bend, Grand Canyon, Zion, and plenty of others. However, there was another big trip that I took over the summer. That was one with my dad and brother, car trip to 11 national parks. 7 were new and 3 others were previous favorites of mine. This was a really fun trip, and the first park we went to on it was Yosemite. This was not my first visit to Yosemite, but in fact my third. Previously, I'd gone in 2015 where I didn't do a whole lot, but did see some of the northern areas of the park and a little bit of the valley. Then I went in spring of 2019 where I enjoyed seeing many waterfalls from snowmelt in the Yosemite Valley area, and doing hikes like Yosemite Falls and Mist Trail. We didn't get a whole lot of Mist Trail in because a lot of it was closed due to snowfall and such. So we were excited to go back to Yosemite and see how our opinions might change. The trip started with a flight to San Francisco, and we flew over Yosemite and got plenty of nice views. We got to see Half Dome and El Capitan and Mono Lake. It was actually a really nice flight. I always enjoy flying over cool sites. I've flown over Yellowstone, Grand Canyon, San Francisco, and a lot of other places too on commercial flights. So the first thing we did when we got to Yosemite was went straight to Mist Trail to do the rest of it. We got to the top of Vernal Falls this time, and we actually got to see a rainbow at Vernal Falls because of the mist and the timing of day. It was really beautiful, and definitely one of the best waterfalls and hikes in the park, and the entire park system. We also saw Nevada Falls, though did not go all the way due to it getting a little late when we arrived. On the way out of the trail, it was kind of dark, so bats began coming out. I'd never seen a bat in a national park before up until then, so I did really enjoy that experience. The next morning, we did Upper Yosemite Falls Trail. This trail is actually a really interesting one, because I thought the views on the way up to the trail were actually a lot better than the final one. On the way up, we could see Half Dome, Yosemite Falls, and tons of other granite peaks. But, the reason you're probably on this video, the landslide we witnessed was truly staggering. We thought it was either a super loud helicopter, or somehow there was a thunderstorm in the area when we heard the super large rock cracking. I have a lot of raw, unedited footage of my reactions to the avalanche or landslide, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just going to play those right now.
He dropped a water ball.
Whoa.
Water ball. He dropped it. Did that go to the road?
Gosh. That was, dude, that noise?
I thought it was a helicopter first, so it was too loud to be a helicopter.
I thought it was lightning or
Yeah,
something.
I wonder if that was
Tyler, keep taking video. Where's my phone? Tyler, grab my phone. Take video. It's going right now. I need to get...
Rock slide I just got on the previous
Just
video.
grab it. Fine. Hello, guys. Currently, it's 4th of July. I'm in Yosemite National Park. Look at the aftermath of a landslide that happened somehow. Don't think that happens very often in any national park. But this is absolutely massive. Look at all that there. This is really terrifying, but yeah, we should sit down for a few minutes. This is a really cool sight to see, actually, especially with the nice granite peaks in the background, but hopefully no one was hurt. This is a really interesting sight. All the dust and such coming up from the avalanche that just happened in Yosemite Valley. I don't think this happens ever. This is a really, really frightening, but also sort of cool event. The aftermath.
The thunder.
Yeah. The aftermath of a large landslide at Yosemite National Park. Truly beautiful, but also terrifying sight. And Half Dome's over there. Very great.
The rock slide was a very exhilarating sight, somewhat terrifying, but also a really cool thing to see. If I were to make a list of the 5 most memorable experiences of all of the national parks in this 2-week trip, even the entire year, honestly, this would probably be in there. It's not something I expected to see. One thing I will note is that a lot of people thought it was not real and that it was fake. When I put it on Facebook, everyone's like, this is from years ago. But as you can hear in the video, I'm mentioning it's July 4th, 2020, and it actually did happen when I went. It was really a frightening experience. My dad was shaken up after that, but I thought it was a really cool thing to see as well. Continuing up the trail, you have really beautiful views of Half Dome and the waterfall and the rest of the valley. Being so high up, it's really cool to look down Yosemite Valley is actually a lot like Zion Canyon, but with granite instead of the sandstone. I think it's a really beautiful place. And going up the trail, it was really beautiful, but also got a little difficult. We struggled a little at the last few parts because it got way hotter, and it was getting much steeper. By the time we got to the top, we were really happy that we were at the top of Yosemite Falls, such a cool thing to be at. Unfortunately, the top of the trail is a little disappointing. You can see all of the valley, and you can even see part of Half Dome. That's cool, but I expected to be able to see the falls going down once we were at the top. That was not the case. So I'm honestly a little disappointed that we decided to go all the way up instead of going where we did at a certain point, seeing really great views, and then turning around. So if you do the trail, unless you really want to say you've been to the top of Yosemite Falls, I'd say don't go all the way to the top. It's nice, but it's just not quite as good if you're struggling physically. I mean, if you don't struggle with the trail and you don't have a time limit, please go all the way. But I think if you do feel tired, it's okay to turn around once you get to the certain viewpoints that are really beautiful. Still a great trail, but overall could have been a little cooler at the top. Nothing they can do about that, obviously, but I still prefer Mist Trail overall. And after that, we went to the Hechi area of the park. I like seeing the sort of reservoir, and the area looked like a mini tunnel view, sort of. It had the El Capitan looking thing and a waterfall. You can walk through this cave to go to the other side. There's a bit of history going on there. It's a nice place. We didn't do any hikes there, but we did get to see part of it, and it was really nice. As far as wildlife goes on this trip, we didn't see a lot. We saw some nice jays, stellar jays, a few deer, and the plenty of bats that we saw I mentioned earlier. Don't have any really footage of those animals because it was almost all at night. So it was still nice though. We got to see those. So overall, this was an excellent trip to Yosemite and a great way to start the trip. I love Yosemite National Park, and it remains one of my favorites and one of the most beautiful parks I've ever been to. And I highly recommend you do all of the things that we did when you go, especially Mist Trail. Fantastic place and a really great start to the incredible national park trip.